It's time to recap Days of Our Lives, the week of September 2nd through the 5th. Again, we're doing the progressing through the week, so at the beginning, we start with Brady and Kristen. He warns her to stay away from John. Of course, they have such an intense conversation, he has to go home and have sex with Teresa. Of course, it really didn't mean anything to him. He was just blowing off steam because of what happened with Kristen, and he says as much to Teresa, and she totally understands, but she is planning to use this against him, and Kristen's being in town to maybe get back with him. Even though Anne thinks she's crazy because they, just got an annulment from a marriage that lasted 2 seconds. Speaking of hot makeups, Wilson made up this week! Yay! Of course, did we ever really doubt them? Will and Sunny have a talk where Sunny says that he did all of those things that Will mentioned with help, and that's all he was trying to do for Will. Will acknowledges that maybe he went over the top, Sunny forgives him, Will forgives himself, and hot makeup. So back to Kristen and Teresa. They have a little confidence off. They're both sticking their heads in the air. You don't know Brady the way I do. And it's all who is going to get the last word. These are two pretty tough women, so I don't expect either one of them to back down just yet. Later in the week, Kristen offers a deal of a lifetime. She has a secret formula that Stefano procured for her that will save John and take him out of his coma. The catch, though, is that Marlena has to convince Eric not to testify against her. According to Daniel and Kayla, this drug might actually work, so it's worth looking into. Kristen tries to get some info out of him about Teresa. She learns he hates her. He has a great line where he says, "You gotta match some socks, so you gotta go." Marlena is so devastated over Kristen's news, she really doesn't know what to do at first. But of course, she needs to save John, and so she goes to Eric and asks him to comply with Kristen's deal. She knows that she's asking a lot. In fact, Eric says, "It's too much. You're asking too much of your son." And then she goes to John's bedside and cries because this is really a horrible option. Meanwhile, Eric and Brady have a nice brother reunion. They make up. Brady tells him that he was just putting the blame on him because he was mad at Kristen and he didn't know what else to do. It was completely irrational, but Eric has been a great brother, always supportive of him, and they love each other. And so they hug. What this scene does for Eric is it gives him perspective, and it makes him see that what's really important is family. Now, family's always going to be there for you, and that's what you got to focus on. Which prompts him, of course, to talk to Kristen at the end of the week, and he tells her that he will not testify against her if the drug works, and he's not making any promises until then. So speaking of Eric, Kristen isn't the only one trying to manipulate him. Nicole accidentally dropped her paper. Oh my god, I am so clumsy. What did I do? I'm so sorry, Eric. Nicole got offered a job in Santa Fe. Sunny Santa Fe. Of course she's not going to take the job. I mean, she's not going to leave Salem because that's where Eric is. And, as she tells Caroline, there's a thin line between love and hate. Huge Hope and Aiden stuff this week. Hope tries to set up Aiden with her cousin Jennifer. However, Jennifer's like, "I'm way not over Daniel." Aiden, of course, overhears this, and he's had a few drinks. So he's kind of drunk as he stumbles into the park and sees Hope trying to set him up, trying to get him off her back. All he says is, "You know how I feel about you. I'm sorry that I did that, but there's this huge elephant in the room and we gotta deal with it." And then he kisses her. And the important thing about this is Hope kissed him back. This wasn't oh my gosh, a man is kissing me, let's push him off. No, this was a let me wrap my arms around him and take him in kind of kiss, because I want him too, and I'm just too afraid to admit it because I'm married. Of course, she backs away after it happens and she comes to her senses, and she's totally scared of what's going to happen. As are the fans. What's going to happen to Bope? Will this ever be resolved? let's just mention what happens to the Devereaux kids this week. Ben is pushing away Abigail because he figures out that she is still all up into EJ. He knows something's going on. When she sees him, she freezes all the time. When they were making out, she pushed him away because she was thinking about EJ. He knows it. She's got to admit it. Hopefully they'll work it out. JJ and Paige are romantically getting ready for the start of school, going for a last-minute summer swim. We also get some awesome flashbacks on Friday. We get to see Jordan as Tammy Sue in Poplar Bluff. And Clyde is being really abusive, physically and emotionally. She's missing her mama. Apparently she just died. This was years ago. But you can tell that she's just really distressed about it. She has nightmares. She goes to Ben and she's just really upset because she has this life that she's been building and she doesn't want him to ruin it. Ben says that they need to stay calm and not let him get to them, and they will make it through this. Clyde makes contact with his dirty business guys he got from Kate, and he is insisting that he is the kind of guy who doesn't like to wait, doesn't take no, and gets things done. Then, of course, he meets EJ DiMera in the park, and wow, if Clyde makes an alliance with the DiMeras, who knows what'll happen? And lastly, Sammy drops a glass in shock this week as she's terrified of seeing Stefano's portrait on the wall. Yes, Stefano has got his armada full of lawyers, as Rafe puts it, to help him get off on the tax evasion at the hearing that should be coming up next week. Stefano calls Kate to say, "Buongiorno, have a wonderful day in the town of Salem." Not to worry, EJ is on it. He gives Rafe a piece of paper that is going to help him with the case against Stefano. Hopefully. Kate suggests that they claim that Stefano threatened her life, and Sammy is the witness. This may or may not work, but we'll call it a plan B at this point. We'll just have to see what happens next week. See you guys in Salem. Bye!